So another weekly rotation in the books, and this go round I wore a lot more blue fragrances, some fresh citruses, a couple sweet fragrances. You know me, usually some mixed up variety, a little bit of everything, and leaned a little bit more blue this week for sure. It's week number 94, so stay tuned. Starting off on Sunday is one that I have not worn in quite some time. It's one of those fragrances that when you pull out after a long while, you fall in love with all over again. That being Lacoste pour Homme. Lovely. More of the simplest way I've always described this fragrance is picture Boss Bottle, the original, with a pretty present rum booziness type of smell. Plum's pretty heightened on this one. It's a boozy plum, woody, spicy kind of smell going for it. I like it. Solid performer, nothing spectacular, but nothing real weak. I actually did run across this at TJ Maxx recently for $36.99 for a 100 milliliter bottle. Not the greatest price, but definitely not the worst. Can typically find them in that $30-ish range, and I think even to this day it's still a great fragrance for that price. It's been around for a very long time. Like I said, it reminds me of Boss Bottle, but it adds some uniqueness because of the booziness, because of that added, juicy plum note, which plum, I believe, is in the original Boss Bottle, but it's not near as present as it is in Lacoste pour Homme. Damn good fragrance that just doesn't get a lot of love these days, and it used to, and I think it needs to get more love. As a lot of you know, because I've discussed it in a few videos recently, I'm kind of reaching back in my collection to go to a lot of my, all-time favorites that I just haven't been wearing because I get so many fragrances all the time. And this was kind of what started that this week, was Lacoste pour Homme. And then when I got out the shower, it was time for a good shave. I went with my Emperor Zaharoff shave soap and aftershave splash, which is a bargain shave set that smells like fruity batch of Aventus. You see that level dropping. Not the best when it comes to longevity, you know what I mean? It's an aftershave splash, like an hour and it's gone at best. So I always give myself a few sprays of something that smells like Aventus, which Mont Blanc Explorer doesn't smell exactly like Aventus, but it's enjoyable enough. I had somebody ask me, because I put it in my fall list, I thought you said you didn't like it. No. Never said I didn't like it. Said I felt like it was overhyped, and I still feel that way, and it has grown on me over time. I like it more than I used to, but it's definitely one that I agree with my previous statement in my full review that I think it is a little overhyped, but it is a good fragrance nonetheless. $30 will get you a 60 ml like this. It's a solid fragrance for that price point. I just don't think it's the mind-blowing, amazing designer that some people have made it out to be, but it is a good fragrance nonetheless. And out the shower that night, I gave myself a few sprays after I shaved with Zaharoff Emperor. Moving into Monday is one of the very, very few, and I say few as in two, bottles of Chanel men's fragrance that I have. This being my big 5-ounce bottle of Chanel Allure Homme Sport Cologne Sport. Now, this is the older style. This is a 2014 bottle. This one says Cologne Sport. I don't know how well, there you go. It says Cologne Sport. The new ones just say Cologne. They don't say Sport Cologne Sport. So it is, I always thought it was kind of weird too. Far as I know, the scent hasn't really changed. Some good stuff. It has a similar scent profile to the whole Dior Homme Cologne Lemonade vibe. Mercedes-Benz Cologne, Jimmy Choo Man Ice. But honestly, this one's better. It's the best of the bunch as far as scent profile because the quality of the ingredients is a little bit better with it being a Chanel fragrance. And it lasts a bit longer on my skin. On par with what Mercedes-Benz Cologne does on my skin in that 6-hour range. I get about 6-ish hours on my skin with this one as well. Definitely better than Dior Homme Cologne. Way better than Jimmy Choo Man Ice. The citruses take quite a while to burn off. This one has some more complexity to it. It's not just straight up a lemonade scent. It's similar. It's, of the four that I'm talking about right now, it's the one that smells the least like the other three, but is the best of the four, in my opinion. If you want what smells just like Dior Homme Cologne, I think Mercedes-Benz Cologne's the way to go because it performs better. But this is definitely just a lovely fragrance. Very fresh, spicy, super bright, big medley of citruses. There's like 6 citruses up top, if I remember correctly. 6 different citrus notes. Very bright, fresh, woody, clean vetiver. Just a wonderful, wonderful fresh fragrance that actually does perform pretty well to take it into that 3-season type of territory, in my opinion, when you want something fresh. Not just a summer freshie. This is spring, summer, fall, in my opinion. And we're starting to gear into fall weather. I got highs in the 60s looking ahead of me this upcoming week. Lows in the 30s. So yeah, I got some fall weather coming, and this can definitely work in those situations. I enjoyed wearing it. It's been a while with Chanel L'Homme Sport Cologne Sport. It's a great fragrance. Change of pace for me out the shower. I wanted to really get a few more wearings in before I did the full review. I wore this out the shower tonight, and the following day you'll see I wore this during the day. Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Mall. So this was a highly requested full review. I needed to get a few more wearings in before I was ready to do a full review, and it's a great fragrance. I had some people in my scent of the day story post say headache in a bottle. I believe that. It's super sweet, powerful, and synthetic. I could see this being headache inducing for some. It's mega popular, but obviously no fragrances for everyone. But I don't mind synthetic. I like sweet fragrances. On occasion, I'm in the mood for something loud. This is definitely loud off of my skin. Now this one, I believe the hype is well deserved versus Explorer. I get why it's always been so mega popular. Is it something I reach for all the time or will reach for all the time in the future? Absolutely not. Because it's not always I'm in the mood for a super sweet synthetic fragrance that's, super powerful. That's a here and there type of thing for me. But I have been enjoying wearing it, and I do understand why it's so popular. It does deserve, justifiably so anyways, in my opinion, a lot of the love and praise it gets. Out the shower, I went with this lovely sweet fragrance, Ultra Mall. Moving into Tuesday, like I said, went right back to Ultra Mall. Like I said, I did do a full review on that. Whether in the previous clip or in this clip, I'll have an iCard somewhere for the full review if you're interested in seeing my detailed thoughts on what I actually get from the scent profile, what's most dominant on my skin. And it does perform. I know performance is very important to a lot of you, more so than even the scent, which I disagree with, but everybody's right to their own opinion. I feel like a fragrance, how it smells, needs to be number one, then performance being a close second. But for some people, it's the other way around. And hey, to each their own. Everybody has their opinion, and it's valid in their own minds, just like mine is valid in my own mind. But during the day, it was definitely another joyous wearing, because I do enjoy wearing this one a lot. It smells really good. Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Mall. After wearing a whole bunch of warm, spicy sweetness, I wanted something fresh. And this has kind of been my go-to out the shower recently. Perry Ellis Aqua. I find myself wearing this way more than I originally thought I would. I spent $12.99 plus tax at a Marshall's on this. I think it was Marshall's. Pretty sure it was Marshall's. I had got it my trip to Louisiana before we had to take off to Texas because Hurricane Ida was coming. And I gotta tell you, more and more, I've been wearing this out the shower. More and more I've been digging it. Still don't think it's some crazy mind-blowing fragrance. It's just an easy grab. Out the shower, it's delightful because it's got that freshness with this smooth creaminess. I like smooth and creamy out the shower. It relaxes me. When there's a smooth, creamy nature to a fragrance, it definitely can help me wind down. Has a similar effect to that of a heavy lavender. Lavender is very relaxing for a lot of people. So this has kind of an aromatherapy thing going for me. Actually, I think there is a little bit of lavender in here, so that might make sense. I don't remember what the note breakdown is. I know there's some C notes in the heart that adds the aquatic nature that comes in a little bit a few minutes after it calms down, but out the shower, I've definitely been digging it. Perry Ellis Aqua. Moving into Wednesday, one of my favorite blue fragrance pickups of the year, Perfumania exclusive, Mercedes-Benz Man Bright, this mirrored fingerprint magnet. But I urge you, get out and try this one. Go to your local Perfumania, or if you have one at an outlet mall an hour up the road or whatever, next time you go, try it. Try it. Super bright, fresh bergamot. Lovely. Bright's really good for the name because it's very, very bright up top. And as it starts to calm down, it does remind me of Bleu de Chanel, but a much more sweet, powdery version of Bleu de Chanel. There's no incense here. It doesn't have the same note breakdown as Bleu de Chanel, but it has a bright opening, kind of like a YSL EDT, with kind of a mixture of Bleu de Chanel in the heart and dry down with some Salvatore Ferragamo Acqua Essenziale Blue. I'm not saying it smells just like all three of these, but it's kind of like there's little bits and pieces taken from all three because that sweet, powdery tonka bean smell that I get, this creaminess, very aromatic, reminds me of Acqua Essenziale Blue. It literally has a similar smell and scent profile in the heart to Bleu de Chanel Eau de Toilette, minus that smoky incense that I was talking about, and then that YSL YADT bright aldehydic citrus smell up top. It's a little bit of all of those. Now, like I said, you're going to pay retail because it is exclusive to them. I mean, unless they have some kind of sale going on or whatever. I paid retail for it, didn't hesitate, because I did sample before I bought it. I've worn it a few times now. I do really enjoy it. It's an above average performer on my skin. Not some beast, not super loud projection, but slightly above average type of stuff. So I definitely feel like I got my money's worth because I do really enjoy the way it smells. Like I said, guys, get out and try this one. Is everybody going to like it? Probably not. Is everybody going to want to pay retail for it once they smell it? Probably not. To each their own. I just happen to like it. That's why I say don't blind buy this one. Just don't. Get out and try it if you can. During the day, Mercedes-Benz Man Bright. Then when I got out the shower, I don't know why I was in the mood for this, but I went with Dunhill Desire Blue. Another blue fragrance I haven't worn quite some time. Very bright, fresh, aquatic fruitiness. Has a nice creamy nature underlying with it as well. It's not too creamy of a fragrance. Beautiful, lovely, lovely fragrance that I just don't wear enough. I've had it for a long time, and you know, juice levels dropped a little bit. You know, I've worn it, but I just don't wear it enough. This is a gem. This is a nice little cheapy gem. When you run across this at a rack store, this is a really good blind buy fragrance right here, in my opinion, because you're not going to spend much money. 50 ml like this, 15, 20 bucks when you run across them. Absolutely worth it. You know, not a special performer, 4 or 5 hour type of stuff, but the scent is just so lovely. It doesn't smell like every blue aquatic out there. Because of this, I believe it's lychee, if I remember correctly, is the fruit. There's this particular fruit in here. I want to say it's lychee. Lychee, however you pronounce it. I think that's what's in here. And it gives it this distinctive, fresh, sweet fruit smell that doesn't overwhelm and make it a super sweet fragrance. It's just a joy to wear. It's a great casual fragrance, great warm weather fragrance, and definitely fantastic out the shower. It's lovely. It has a special scent profile in my opinion. Definitely better than most for its price point. Out the shower, Dunhill Desire Blue. Moving into Thursday, let's keep the blue fragrances going with Jimmy Choo Man Blue. So this is one of the more sweet vanilla-based blue fragrances that I have in my collection. It's lovely though. It's good. It's generic, but it is good. And you can get them pretty cheap. 100 mLs are in that $30 range. Testers, high 20s type of stuff. This is a 1 ounce bottle. I had somebody in the comments ask me if it has the pressurized atomizer that the rest of the bottles have. And yes, it absolutely does. Very, very lovely. I wouldn't compare this to any particular blue fragrance because it's a bit sweeter than the rest. If anything, it could be in the family of Ferragamo Acqua Essenziale Blue, but definitely not the same smell because I wouldn't relate this one into the Dylan Blue family. Dylan Blue is much more fresh and aquatic and ambroxan based, whereas this is much more aromatic, creamy, sweet, and powdery. You know, it's one of those much more dense, sweet type of blue fragrances that I wouldn't really advise you to wear in the summer. But fall, like we're rolling into, this is really good for the fall because it has that added sweetness. It's not too powdery for me, but for some it might be too powdery. Because I mean, I like iris and florals and stuff like that, so I can get down with a lot of really powdery fragrances. So for me, this isn't that powdery of a fragrance, but I could see where it might be too much for some that don't really enjoy a very powdery fragrance or aren't used to a very powdery fragrance. So it's, you know, I don't know where you can sample them. Department stores that carry Jimmy Choo fragrances, I'm sure, may have some. Sample it if you can. Try before you buy. Unless you know you like that style of fragrance, then I would say it's blind buy safe. Nothing special, but it is a very good blue fragrance in my opinion. If I had to put a number on this one, I would say it's like a 6, 6.5. It's solid. During the day, Jimmy Choo Man Blue. Then we out the shower. Don't let the red bottle fool you, because this is a blue fragrance too. Cambridge Night from English Laundry. So some of you know I have one of the loose bottles and I have a full presentation older bottle that's not quite as metallic. Hold on. Every time this fragrance comes up I get asked about it. So here is the loose bottle. Here is my older style full presentation that I got for $15 at a Marshall's in Biloxi, Mississippi several years ago. So this is the full presentation bottle. You see how deep the red is and just how translucent? Let me flip it around. This is the loose bottle. You see the difference in color and how this is more metallic reflective and not as translucent? You can clearly see the difference in the bottles. Okay, even if I switch them around, the lighting doesn't change much. You still see this deep translucent red. Up close you can see the prints even a little bit different. This is more refined looking, whereas this looks a little bit more splotchy in a sense. I mean, you'd have to see it in person to really understand what I'm saying. But point being, 13 bucks loose bottle, it still smells great. It doesn't smell as rich and deep as the older style bottles. This is what you need to look for, is that deep color, translucent. That's what you need to look for. That's the older style bottles. This is an 8-hour fragrance that's much richer, lovely. Lovely. Dare I say I like this more than Invictus and Invictus Aqua. First stretch of time. Not the case anymore, but first stretch of time. But out the shower, this is like a, 4-hour fragrance. Nothing special. But for 13 bucks, you could do a lot worse. So I know somebody was going to ask. That's a bit tangential. Kind of irrelevant to me spraying this out the shower. I do have the shower gels and everything to kind of keep the scent going when I use it out the shower. But out the shower, I use the one that's the weaker performer. Because I don't need 8 hours of a rich, deep smell when I get out the shower, because I take showers at night most of the time within, a few hours of me going to bed. So, tangent over. But this is a lovely Invictus Aqua type of smell that is a little bit more polished, refined, and matured because it has this black currant, that tart, bitter citrus fruitiness up top. A little bit of lily of the valley adds a little floral touch to it. It takes away some of the sweetness and a little bit of the aquatic nature and kind of rounds everything off. This is a smoother fragrance overall, in my opinion. This is, also in my opinion, the best of the house. But I also love Invictus, and this is just another twist and style on Invictus that I think is one of the best out there that's not Invictus, but kind of is Invictus. So if you see this one out there for 13 bucks, no, they don't perform like they used to. I just showed you the difference in the bottles of what to look for. There's no batch codes or anything like that on the bottoms. I don't recall there being, so, I mean, here's the one that you would want to look for. And I don't recall, yeah, there's literally nothing on the bottom, nothing on the back. So if I had any way, and there's nothing on the box, if I had a way to help you guys out, I would. But just know that the difference in the color of bottles is the main thing I can say to look for. Though for $13, you could do a lot worse. This is a damn good fragrance for 13 bucks. But no, they don't perform like the old ones. Moving into Friday, this has kind of become a forgotten blue fragrance of yesteryear with a recycled bottle and a partially recycled name for a La Nuit de l'Homme flanker for the new one. So this is La Nuit de l'Homme Eau Electrique. This has a lot of similarities to kind of if you mixed L'Homme with Argos is the best way to describe it. And I say recycled because the new Bleu Electrique is the same bottle and still has Electrique, but instead of Eau, it's Bleu. B-L-E-U, not blue, bleu. Just like it's not Bleu de Chanel, it's Bleu de Chanel. I digress. So I've always liked this fragrance. From the minute I got it, this was a blind buy I found at a Marshall's when I lived in Texas many moons ago. And I've always enjoyed it. It's made fall lists for me in the first year of my channel. It's really good. The geranium adds this nice minty nature. Like I said, similar to what you would expect from Argos. It has that minty vanilla, but it does lean more L'Homme. Like the L'Homme DNA is in here more so than La Nuit de l'Homme, really. I guess you can say a little touch of La Nuit de l'Homme's there more so. It's that family. It fits the DNA, but only slightly. This is one of those fragrances that takes a pretty hard turn and kind of does something different with the DNA to where it's not completely a flanker, a true flanker to the line, but it is slightly there. But overall, it's all about minty vanilla. It's not synthetic. It is quite smooth. It's very enjoyable. It's a slightly above average, like 6-7 hour type of fragrance and longevity on me. It is a compliment getter. Honestly, it's better than Argos. Sadly discontinued from what I remember. I believe this is discontinued, hence the reason they recycled part of the name in the bottle, which I do have that en route. Everybody went crazy about the 2-ounce bottles on sale for 45 bucks from Macy's this week for the deal of the day. I know a ton of you bought it. I bought it too. I got it coming in the mail. But there's no reason to forget about this one. If you have it on your shelf collecting dust, maybe it's time to pull it out, because this is a great fall fragrance. And it's an underrated blue fragrance, in my opinion, for sure. During the day, La Nuit de l'Homme Eau Électrique. Then out the shower, one of my newest acquisitions, Lomani White Gold. Another one of those loose $13 bottles from TJ Maxx. This is kind of a mixture of Aqua de Jo meets Lacoste L1212 Blanc. Lacoste White, the original. Kind of a mashup of the two is how I would... The comparisons say Lacoste White, but I get a lot of that Aqua de Jo top note is really what I get from it. As it calms down, it's more Lacoste White, but still not quite a 1-to-1 with Lacoste White. It's like a 60, 65, maybe 70% at best comparison, but it is a solid, super cheap fragrance. Synthetic. I mean, it's a $13 fragrance. It's one of those loose bottles, but this is one of those good loose bottles that you run across at the rack stores. Just like these are those good loose bottles you can run across at the rack stores. So if you see this one out there, I mean, hell, it's not in the box. Pull it out, spray it. Somebody had already sprayed this. Spray it on your hand, skin, your wrist, whatever. Wear it around the store. See if you like it. Put it in your cart. Hold it in your hand, whatever. You can do a lot worse for 13 bucks with some of these loose bottles at these rack stores. I gotta tell you, I'm digging this one. Out the shower, it's a great fragrance. Good gym bag type of fragrance too. Out the shower, Lomani White Gold. Saturday, we're gonna round things off with another blue fragrance. So it was just blue after blue after blue. Some light blues in there. I would consider Allure Homme Sport Cologne Sport light blue. Lomani White Gold is definitely light blue. So probably gonna have something about blue fragrances in the title, because this was a pretty dominating performance by blue fragrances this week. Speaking of blue, Oxford Bleu. This is another one of those spelled with B-L-E-U, bleu. So this is one of those older Coffret style bottles. There's a difference in the colors here as well. I do have a newer style Coffret, but I'm not going to go on another tangent. You guys get the point. But this one actually performs. This is a more slightly matured version of Versace Eros. So I had Eros style 2 days in a row. What's different with this one, it's got some iris in it. Adds this bright floral powdery nature to it, to the Eros mint apple vanilla smell. And this one's like a 6 to 8 hour fragrance. I didn't really clock it today. This was my scent of the day today. I did not need to refresh. I wore it all throughout the day. This is a great fragrance. I actually did get 2 compliments today. One being my wife, of course. So I guess technically that doesn't count. So 1 compliment today. I'll spray it again. This stuff's really good. Really, really good. One of the best from the house, and the main reason I didn't buy Eros for the longest time, because I do think this one's better than Eros too, to be honest with you. But they killed the performance. They're not the same as they used to be. Like 4-hour fragrances now at best, 3 hours. Some people say 20, 30 minutes. I don't buy that 20, 30 minutes crap. But if you get an hour, hour and a half, I can believe that. If you got drier skin and, you know, skin fragrances tend to not last as well for you, I can believe they perform like an hour, hour and a half these days. For me, it's more like 4 hours for these newer style ones, 3 to 4 hours. They're still worth it for the, you know, the cheap price you can get them for at these rack stores. They still smell really good. They're just not the well-performing fragrances they once were. I still think it's a solid house overall, solid cheapy house, because they get really cheap. These rack stores, Marshalls and TJ Maxx, are notorious for carrying these. They get these little 4-pack coffers of these 20 mLs. You get these loose bottles that pop up. I haven't been seeing full presentation boxes for a long time. It's been years now. I see gift sets from time to time. London, Windsor, Signature, stuff like that. Burlington is where I see the gift sets. So they're out there. And I say for the little bit of money you're going to spend, it's worth rolling the dice on English Laundry. I think they are really good fragrances. And I definitely enjoyed wearing this one. It's been a while with Oxford Bleu. And then when I got out the shower tonight, it was time for a shave. I did take my shower already, and I pulled out my Zaharoff Signature Noir shave set. This is the aftershave splash, and as per usual, I gave myself 2 sprays of the fragrance. The wife gave me a real good compliment on this one. She said, "Ooh, that smells sexy. What are you wearing?" And she made me lean in so she could smell again. I told her, "I like that. That smells good." So I guess technically you can and cannot. It depends on how you want to look at it. Compliments from the wife, you know. But I definitely agree with her because this is a sweeter take. The way this translated into the shave products, they had to enhance the tonka bean a little bit from what I understand, and you can definitely smell it's a little bit sweeter versus just the fragrance, which is much more smoky, a little bit darker take on the DNA. Really, really good fragrance. Noir doesn't get enough love in my opinion. Royale and Signature Pour Homme and Rosé, they get all the love, but Noir doesn't get enough in my opinion. Really, really good fragrance. This is actually the base for Rosé. This is where Rosé came from. This is the base that Claude used. But out the shower, I'm smelling great right now. I wish you guys could smell me through the camera because I currently have on the aftershave splash and the fragrance for Zaharoff Signature Noir. Well, that was this week's rotation. Until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Because I do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. What'd you wear this week? You know I like to read that stuff. Make sure you sound off in the comments. What did your fragrant week look like? Was it 1 or 2 fragrances? Was it something different every day like for me? Did we match on anything this week? I love when that tends to happen. It's a rare thing. It doesn't have to be on the same day, but did we wear something the same this week? I just find that kind of stuff interesting. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the fragrances that I featured in my rotation and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.